Hello everybody, it's Dr. Carmen Bryant. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Thank you guys so much for joining me on our venture. Yesterday on my day off, you guys got to enjoy the beautiful scenery in Ruston Way and Washington. Thank you guys for joining me. And if you haven't, go back and watch the video. I did talk a little bit about my experience, with a narcissist when it came to health and recovery. And so today I just wanted to talk about, when the narcissist leaves out of your life, whether you discard it or they discard it, keep them out. Number one, a narcissist, they're so arrogant and they're so, full of grandiosity and full of themselves that they never assume that anyone is going to change, because they don't change. So they don't assume anyone is going to change. They can be gone away from you or discarded and no contact with you for years, but they assume that you're still the exact same person you were when they left. And for many of you, no matter what stage of recovery you are in, some of you are fresh in the discard, every day is a new day that you're growing. Every day is a day that your hair is still growing. So every day your hair grows, whether you see it or not, or whether you believe it or not, your hair is growing, and eventually it's going to shed and fall out, right? Some faster than others, but every day, children are growing. When you have little children, you look back at the pictures like, where did the time go? Because all of a sudden they're these huge people, So your progress, you are growing, you are learning. It's just a painful process, but you have to trust the process. They never assume that you're going to change. They always assume that you're going to be exactly the same way every time they come back. So every time you open up that door to them, it just in their mind solidifies their opinion that you're still the same, you'll never change. They'll even make comments to you like, you don't know me because I've changed. No, they haven't. They have the same character. They still have the same character traits. They still have this dysfunctional character. They're the same people that left you and just got worse dealing with a new supply. The only thing that they changed was the supply. And so they metamorphosed, or they transformed into what this new source of supply is. So when you see them again, like, this is not how he or she was when they were with me. No, because you're not that other individual person. So they are with a new source of supply. And every source of supply that they get with, they learn something new. It's like they add to their arsenal of weapons to destroy the next person. Or if they keep coming back to you, they just use new tactics, because every time you discard them, they go and pick up momentum with a new source of supply to use when they come back to you. Trust you me, the way that you discarded them, they never forget. Don't ever think that they forget. They don't forget. And when they meet new sources of supply, they learn a different tactic to come back, to hoover you. Some hoover, some of you are hoovered quite constantly. Some of you are not hoovered until 2, 3, 4, 5, and I told you, one of the ladies said 20 years later they came back, but they assumed that individual was still in the same place. You guys are never in the same place, but once you open up that door to the narcissist, they come right back in. And I'm gonna say this, and some of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. When you discard a narcissist, or when a narcissist discards you, they go out seeking new sources of supply. Some of the sources of supply that they connect with is an emergency. It's something, because they like to take their time to trauma bond, or they like to take their time to love bomb. They like to take their time to groom. That's why they're with you. But at the same time, they have all these different sources of supply, and they're trying to figure out which one is going to be the new primary source of supply. So they're grooming, they're love bombing, and if you discard quickly, out of what's the word I'm looking for? Out of desperation, they pick the one that tends to be the most vulnerable, the quickest one that they can attach to. It may not be the one that they want. It may be someone else that they want, but they needed more time to love bomb, and get a whole hook their claws into that individual. So they'll settle for this one right here. And they're angry with you because you took the choice away from them to be able to love bomb someone else and get them. So it is an emergency stop for them. But anytime you discard, or they discard you, they're going out looking for other sources of supply. and they're gathering more information, they're gathering more intel, they're gathering more arsenal, they're gathering more information in order, because 9 times out of 10, if you were a long source of supply, where you were a long primary source supply and you provided them with a lot of fuel, and you're drained and you're empty and they've sucked all the life out of you, they're not going to find anyone at the equivalence of the supply that you had, and the type of supply the fuel that you supplied them. In other words, like that crack that you supplied them, the drug that you supplied them to get them high, you discarded and you went no contact. Now they're in desperation, or even if they discarded you, they're still looking for source supply. They're looking for one to fit into the mold that they need. And if they can't find one to satisfy their needs the way that they need their needs satisfied, or fuel them the way that you fuel them, eventually turn around and they come back. They come back to find you swept up, cleaned up, more knowledgeable, healthy, beautiful, handsome, more prosperous, or filled up to a point where now they want that fuel. So they don't come back just on their own. They come back with an arsenal of information, now they have more history of different types of sources of supply, with more information, more fuel, more arsenal, more weaponry to get back in. That makes it even harder, because when they get in this time, it'll be worse than it was the first time, because they can't allow you to discard them again. They can't allow you to kick them out. And so now they have a different type of grip on you. And so every time you discard and go no contact and open the door back up and fall for the Hoover, they come back even stronger than they were the last time. Meaning that it's worse. Every time you go back, it gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. You're more drained. It's like they come back worse, because they're coming back with all these different experiences. They're coming back with all these roles that they played with other people. So they come back and you're almost confused, because they're not the same person that left you the first time. They're not the same person that left the first time. And so when you go no contact, and when you discard, or if they discard you, don't go back. I don't care. Don't go by your feelings. I know that it's painful. I know that you're going to go through certain withdrawal symptoms and crying, and get a good counselor, get a good support group, get your mind busy, get yourself busy, get counseling. And that's why at the bottom of my link on the YouTube, you see the BetterHelp.com/Dr. Carmen. For those of you that are in areas where you can't really travel, some of you don't have the transportation, or it's just not good counselors that you're interested in, you can go and pay a small fee, to this counseling site. And those of you that may have financial hardships, when you let them know that, they give you a discounted price to seek counseling. You tell them what you're looking for. Don't go in there asking for, I need someone that's a narcissist specialist. They may not understand what you're talking about, but these are licensed counselors. Look for someone that specializes in trauma, psychological abuse, post-traumatic stress disorder, understanding high conflict or toxic relationships. You can ask them about parental alienation. Give them the symptoms. Give them the definition, but don't give them, narcissist abuse. You can ask, but if they don't understand it, just give them that. If some of you guys are turned off, they don't understand narcissist abuse, you'd be surprised. A lot of them may understand the symptomology. They may understand the language, the definition. They just don't know to put it together with narcissist abuse, because in counseling, when we go through training, that's not something that's taught. That's not something that's even taught within domestic violence programs, because it's almost like a new awareness. It's been there all along, but it's a new awareness, and we're being educated about it. And those of you that have been contacting me, I'm going to get back to you guys, have been contacting me about certain ideas and certain things. My heart goes out to you, and I do understand. I'm gonna respond. There's a couple of you that I need to respond to, so don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you, but a lot of the stories that you're telling me is very, how they do you, that you're crazy, put you in a mental institute, and play you in the courtroom. That's their playground, especially if they have money and they know that they can drain you of money in the courtroom. It is secondary. Well, it's not secondary. It's re-victimizing the victim of abuse in the court system. And they get the flying monkeys. They get the people to side with them because they sound very impressionable. They're charismatic. They're very intelligent when they're talking, and so they convince these people You know, it's almost like they hypnotize, but they convince these people that, hold on, you guys. Thank you so much, sir. I take care of my mailman. Thank you so much, sir. You too. But they convince in the court systems, they convince the court system by their charm, by the information they provide. They'll take your language and use your language against you in the courtroom. And a lot of times they'll drain you of money where you can't, you know, they stop the motions, halt the motions, do this to drain your finances when they know that you don't have the finances to be able to continue fighting them in the courtroom. You know, they throw in like a monkey wrench and make them, they refocus people. And so a lot of times they end up getting people to side with them in the courtroom. And a lot of you have said that you've lost your children because of this, you know, and in actuality, the court handed over the children to the abuser. But I am going to respond. So if you're watching, I am going to respond to that. And I had someone also give me some ideas on providing education to counselors. I'm going to respond to that. I haven't forgotten you. I saw the email and I'm going to get back to you guys. And thank you so much for all the suggestions. And so hopefully this has helped a little bit. When you go no contact, stay no contact, because they're not coming back the same way that they're left. They're coming back with more information, more arsenal, more weapons to fight you. And when they come back worse than when they left. And then you end up being worse than what you were when they left. And it gets worse and worse every time. Like the kids say, they get worse and worse. You get worse and worse every time they come back. You know, stay no contact. Do whatever you have to do to get through your healing. And ladies, gentlemen, don't focus so much on fighting them. Well, you do have to fight on behalf of your children. Pay attention to your children. Give them love. Give them attention. Spend time with them. You know, spend enough time to help yourself, but don't forget your kids. Spend time with them. Love them, because the narcissist uses those children as a trophy to get back at you. That's the spoils. Not that they care about the kid. That's the spoils of war, is to get the trophy and hold it, you know, in your face, because they're the next ones to get you guys. Excuse me, I got this big hairy jacket on. It's getting in my nose. But I told you guys Washington doesn't know what weather. Yesterday it was beautiful, and now look, now we're in jackets today. But you know, but do pay attention to your kids. Get your children help as well, you know, so that you can, you know, you don't want them to be like we were as we grew up, because we didn't know. So knowledge is powerful, but understanding and revelation is even more powerful, because when you understand, you know, the problem is that a narcissist is they feed off of emotions. That's where they're feeding friends. They feed off of negative and positive emotions, but they look for loopholes. They look for fear. They look for low self-esteem. They look for these things and they feed off of it, what actually grows them bigger than what they really are, you know. And you guys know I've been to the movies, right? You'll figure out what movie that is, but we made them bigger than what they really are. And each person that they get with, they feed off of whatever their fears, secrets, or whatever it is, they feed off of it to make them bigger than what they really are. But if we come together as a tribe, some of you are into law, some of you guys are into the medical field, some of you guys are in the mental health field. You know, each one of you plays a role in society. Each one of you plays a role where we can get this information out to educate people that are having to deal with the court system, the legal system, the medical system. It's the trauma-focused care. You know, they've already been taught how to identify domestic violence, but no one has identified psychological abuse and the torment that happens in a person's mind. So they're looking at something, but when you interject and teach them something new, they become aware. When I say they, the professionals become more aware of what is going on. And we have to get this information out. And it takes a tribe of people to do that, to come together to rescue people, because some people didn't make it as far as we've made it. Some people actually committed suicide or were killed by the narcissist. And so hopefully this has helped you guys today. Please look at the link below. You'll find the betterhelp.com / Dr. Carmen, and you can get a licensed counselor. They do Skype, and it is a sponsored link. They do Skype, they do telephonic calls, they do whatever, you know, FaceTime, whatever way, especially for those of you that haven't found a good counselor, and this is worldwide. So those of you that are overseas, wherever you are, you can get counseling from a licensed counselor. Look for a trauma professional, one that understands, you know, PTSD and the aftermath of psychological trauma, and maybe even cluster B or personality disorders. You know, when you're being abused by an individual that has mental health disorders, use that type of terminology. Also, for those of you that have asked to donate, my Cash App and my PayPal is underneath the link as well. Please also go to my mentor's YouTube channel, which is Helen Sadler, Destiny Helper. Subscribe to hers channel, because she also talks about narcissist abuse from a biblical perspective, a spiritual perspective. And a lot of you enjoy our Bishop R.C. Blake's, and other people like Angie Atkinson, Associates Direct. So, whoever you feel resonates with you, that is helping you do these leaps and bounds and these small steps and big steps, whatever is helping you to move forward, stick with it. Clear your mind, clear the fog, clear the whatever they've interjected, all these seeds they've planted and the seeds of doubt they've planted in you. Begin to integrate other information to move that, and then that cloud is going to lift, that fog is going to lift. You're more powerful than you think you are. You just have empowered that narcissist to a point, and most of you are like, well, they're doing this and that and this. Yes, we are guilty of empowering because we were ignorant. Ignorant doesn't mean that you're stupid. Ignorant means that you lack the knowledge of what was going on. And now we're beginning to understand, what role do you play? You can't just sit there and suffer and then not come back and teach other people. You got to go back and get the other people. I'm a soldier. Like you guys said, I thought I told you. I'm a soldier at heart. I might be a veteran, but I'm a soldier at heart. And that's what I do. We go back and get those that have fallen on the battlefield, and we fill them back with information and get them back on their feet. And so thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Hit the bell. You can go to my Facebook page, which is Psychological Health Consultants and Services. Hit the thumbs up button, and also Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Thank you guys so much for all your support, and go be great.